ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
And we back like we never left. It's Livezone here with Mazzi. We're back for another Live 5 list. Got a lot coming to you today. We got a little NBA thing going on today. So, Mazzi, you want to give them what we got?
We are getting into it. What's up, Livezone? A great day to talk some basketball. It's a Live 5 list coming at you. The greatest buzzer beaters of all time that were game winners. Maybe an asterisk on that one. We're going to get into a list of our top 5 greatest buzzer beaters all time in NBA history. Livezone, I'm going to let you kick it off with your number 5 best buzzer beater all time. What is it?
All right, I'm going with none other than Kobe Bean Bryant. Yes, sir. I had to put him on this list. 06 season, was on a tear, was averaging at least 30 points in the month of January by itself. I think it was a little bit higher than that. I'm pretty sure it was like around the 40 area. And then he gets snubbed for the MVP. In the playoffs, he goes against the team and the player that snagged that MVP away from Kobe Bryant and Steve Nash. And then after that, he hits a go-ahead layup to tie the game to go into overtime. And then after that, in overtime, he then hits a game-winner elbow jump shot, double-teamed. And it was probably one of, if not the most amazing game winners that we have seen come from the early 2000s or 2000s era of basketball. He ended the game with 24 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds. Nothing to shy away from. Had a great game. Only played 39 minutes instead of Steve Nash that had 22 points, and he played for 45 minutes. So that's my number 5. I had to go with Kobe Bean Bryant on here. If you know me, you know my guy is Kobe, so I had to put him on this list.
Any list that Kobe Bean Bryant's on is a good list. Another top 5 list he can find his way into somehow. I'm starting off with some controversy, okay? Let's put it this way. Jerry West, okay, 1970, 60-foot buzzer beater. Unfortunately, it was worth 2 points at the time and only tied the game because there was no 3-point line yet. If this had happened past 1979 when they implemented the line, Jerry West would be having a much talked about game-winning 3-point shot in the NBA Finals. That's only been done one time in 1950, a game-winning shot in the NBA Finals. Now, Jerry West actually went on to lose this game in overtime after making this game-tying shot to set it to overtime, ultimately losing in the finals because of this loss to the New York Knicks. 1-8 all-time. Jerry West, a savage, made it to a bunch of finals, a little consolation prize in being the logo. That's how I think about that sometimes. But Jerry West, just another woe for him. Game tying as time expired, but there was no implementation of a 3-point line, so it only means he tied the game ultimately to lose in overtime. I had to put it in there because it's just too. It's so Jerry West, bro. It's just so Jerry West. So you know, could have been the greatest shot we've ever seen if there was different. If there was a line, literally a line drawn 22 feet away from the basket, and this is probably one of the greatest shots we've ever seen. But because there was no line there.
I would say number two. I would say if they won the game, and if even if it was a 2 point shot, if they won the game, it would have been number two. But because they didn't win the game, it ranked lower for me. But I understand why you had to put this in the list. Jerry West, an iconic legend for the LA Lakers. And with West, he wasn't just a great player, he was also a great coach, and he was also a great general manager. So I understand why. But all right. So do you want to head into your four? Or do you want me to head into mine?
Damn, I'll jump into my four if you want me to. I got 2019 Dame Lillard, round one of the West round one in the West, game five in the best of five series. Whew, whew, whew. It was cold in Portland that day. It was very, very cold, bro.
Yep.
OKC came in town, thought they were gonna do something. 37 feet away from the basket, 50 points on the day, 17 points by his next closest teammate against Paul George and Russell Westbrook on OKC with Steven Adams, a classic, uh, hitting a 37-footer in that game at home. 8 seconds left, you walk to your spot and you stood there and you wave a fake pick. Nobody comes, or maybe it was a real pick and nobody came. And he just took that shot. I vaguely remember hearing something about Dame talking on a show and saying that something went wrong on the play, so he just took the shot. But I also feel like he just walked up there and said, "I'm gonna take this shot." Because to walk to 37 feet, we're talking just inside the logo. We're talking Dame later went back and saw the exact spot that he shot it from and said, "Damn, it was really this far." And the dude said, "Yeah, this is exactly where it was." 37 feet in a tie. No, yep, in a tie game. You know, you're either going to overtime and this is going to be a series, a battle, or you hit this shot and you end it and you go home. And dude, I don't even got to mention the memes after, dude. Look at his face after nailing that shot. It was over. The wave goodbye. And then the
Yep. Yeah, the straight face
like
said everything. The straight
bro,
face said
getting
everything.
dogpiled by his teammates. That was it was even crazier because I was watching the game and like it was kind of like they knew this was about to happen because ESPN set it up perfectly. Like they took like four timeouts, like 17 commercials. Like it was like 7 minutes long for us to see this last inbound play. And they were like, it's going to Lillard. And we're just gonna see what happens. And the call was right. It was just it was poetry. It was smooth. That's why I'm putting it four.
All right, all right. I have the same player, but different shot. I have the shot before he made this shot in his second year, or sorry, third year of playing in the NBA. They were going against the Houston Rockets. Nobody thought that the Portland Trailblazers could make it to the next round going against James Harden and Dwight Howard. Everybody thought it was a wraps, game one of the series. It ended up being that the Rockets were up by two with seconds left. Everybody thought the ball was going to the star at the time on the Portland Trailblazers, which was LaMarcus Aldridge. But around the corner comes Damian Lillard, gets the ball off of the inbounds from Batum, and hits a wicked, wicked clutch 3 point shot that made the whole arena go crazy like it was March Madness. Um, Lillard ended up having 25 points, 3 assists, and 6 rebounds. And this was the game to eliminate the Houston Rockets in a game seven. Or, sorry, game six. So, in a game six game, third year Damian Lillard on the rise of being a star, hits that 3 point shot to go into the next round. Nobody thought it was going to be done. Nobody thought that Portland was going to be in the next round. And Damian Lillard said, "Hold my beer because I'm going to get us there." And that's the reason why I have him as number 4. I do say that he has my number 6 spot for that 2019 shot. It's just that the rivalry was between Russell Westbrook and Damian Lillard that year, where this, it was a shocker that they even made it to the next round. So for that reason, I had to put this one at 4. We're going to get to our third and our second spot, but before that, we're going to head over to a nice ad for Atlanta Seafood and Steaks. Make sure you're checking them out and stay tuned.
Yourself a merry little Christmas night, and have yourself a merry little Christmas. Up, 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 up.
And we are back. As always, we were getting to our 5th and 4th spot on best game winners of all time. We're going to head over to our number 3. Mazzi, I'm going to head it over to you. Who do we got at number 3 on your list?
Wow. We got a name at number 3. We got a classic name. We're looking at Derek Fisher, 2004 on the Los Angeles Lakers with Shaq, with Kobe, at the end of the era of the Spurs and the Lakers rivalry from 1999 to 2004, eventually falling off 2005, 2006, 2007. One of these teams, the Spurs or the Lakers, was in the NBA Finals every single year from 1999 to 2004, and they met again in the Eastern Conference Finals in a giant rivalry. Game 5 in San Antonio. Let me break it down for you. Okay, Kobe went down. It was down to the wire towards the end. Kobe went down, made a bucket, thought it was a game winner at the time. San Antonio goes down the court. Tim Duncan knocks down a thought at the time game winner with 0.04 seconds left. Didn't even think it was possible. Derek Fisher gets the ball on the inbound pass, fires a 3, and hits a game winner to put the Lakers up 3-2 in the series, where the Lakers win the next game, getting the last laugh in the rivalry, going to the finals, ultimately losing to Detroit, but this propelled them to even be in the conversation of of the championship again. But more importantly, it gave Kobe and Shaq the last laugh over the Spurs. It solidified Derek Fisher as having an all-time moment, beating the Tim Duncan-led Spurs in a Game 5, backs against the wall, being down 2-0 in the series, coming back and winning the next 3. Winning the next 4, actually. Just really, I love it. Just the scenario is great. And to get a shot off in that amount of time, I think there's a rule now if you can't even get a shot off with less than a second left because it's not possible. Is that correct? Or is it
Yeah,
a 10?
it's 1.3 seconds. If there's 1.3 seconds left on the clock, then the shot isn't going to be good either way.
You
So
mean 0.13?
no, 1.3 seconds need to be left on the clock for you to shoot a 3-point shot or shoot a shot to win the game.
Interesting. Anyways, I think it's just impressive what he did. I feel like 1.3 seconds is a long time. Like that was
Yeah.
less than half a second. Boom.
Yep.
Boom.
Yep.
Like
I know. I know.
so.
It is what it is. Derek Fisher definitely has to be on one of these lists somewhere. I don't know if he's top 5, but I will say that this isn't the first time that this isn't the last time that he saved Kobe's legacy, because he did come back in 2009 and 2010 to win those championships as well, to win him his last 2. So he had a familiar face there when he ended up winning his last 2 championships. I like the pick. It was definitely dug up. I understand why why. I remember the shot. The crowd was going crazy, and this was when Derek Fisher had hair. So, so great pick. I will say
Before the
that.
cheating. Before the cheating. Actually,
Yeah,
maybe during the cheating.
maybe. But all right. I'm gonna go into my number 3. I got none other than one of my favorite players of all time. I have Russell Westbrook on this list. Listen, this was the year after Kevin Durant left the OKC Thunder to go join the Golden State Warriors. Russell Westbrook showing why he was the guy in Oklahoma City the full time, breaking the record for most triple doubles in one season. Ended up getting his 42nd triple double in this game. This also was the game to eliminate the Denver Nuggets from the playoffs that year and to clinch a top 8 seed to go to the playoffs for the OKC Thunder that year. Russ ended up scoring 50 points, 16 rebounds, and 10 assists, getting what will be one of his 200 career triple doubles in this amazing season where he ended up winning the MVP. So I had to put him up here. I know you don't like the pick. You were iffy on it, but when it comes down to legendary performances and everything like that, this has to be brought up. So for that reason, I have Russell Westbrook as my number 3.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
I got nothing to say to you, pal. I got
I
nothing to say to you.
I understand why you have nothing to say, but at this time you got to remember Russell Westbrook was on the verge of just being one or two pieces away from a championship team, and if he got that guy that year, he had Steven Adams, he just needed another guy. He needed Paul George a year before he got him, and that team probably would have won a championship if it wasn't for, you know, if it wasn't for
Shoulda,
the
coulda, woulda. If it wasn't for shoulda, coulda,
yeah,
woulda. That's
110%.
what he didn't
110%.
get it done. Let's talk about somebody who got it done in the finals, sliding into my number 2 slot, Michael Jordan. All right. Michael Jordan. The shot, okay, famously known as the shot, 1989, game 5 in Cleveland on the road. Did he push off? Was it a push? Uh, did they call it?
No.
There you go. That's your answer, brother. Okay. He knocked down one of the most famous shots with one of the most famous celebrations after the fact. Uh, this arguably, we all knew about Michael Jordan. Obviously, we weren't alive at this time, but everybody knew about Michael Jordan coming up through college and whatnot, and how much potential he possibly had in the NBA. And then I think come this time really solidified how good and where the ceiling could be for this player in this generation. I mean, 1989, before any of the championships, while he's still learning, while he's still getting beat up, while he's still not big enough, while he's still not strong enough, he's still not putting up enough points to get it done, or doesn't understand how to get the championship done. He goes out there, hits a game winner on the road, silences the crowd, pumps his fists in the air, and showed that he was the new man in town, on campus, ready to bring it down, bring the house down. It was beautiful. I watched it and I could feel the people in the crowd being like, all right, this kid's gonna do something. This kid's gonna do something. Because it
Yeah.
felt special even in the video, watching the video 40 years later now, or gonna be 35 right now, but gonna be 40 before we know it. And it's like, geez, that's crazy. The man was savage. That's why he slid into number 2, because there's one shot that I think, with all the ramifications behind it and everything that went into it, is better than this shot.
Hey man, I understand why you're going with it, but My number 2 is going to be a familiar face towards you, I assume. I'm going with none other than Kawhi Leonard at my number 2 spot. Now listen, this year for Kawhi Leonard, probably one of the greatest years in NBA history. Nobody thought that Toronto was even going to come close to touching Kawhi Leonard. And out of nowhere came this trade for DeMar DeRozan to go to San Antonio for Kawhi Leonard, and the San Antonio Spurs took it, thinking that DeMar was on the same level as Kawhi, even though that wasn't the case. So, I mean, I would say this is the best season in recent memory that we've seen out of an NBA star. Leading the Toronto Raptors past the 76ers into head against, I forget the team that they went against in the Eastern Conference Finals, but they ended up going to the Eastern Conference Finals because of this game winner shot. One buzzer beater to cap off the game, 41 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. And this is the part that gets me is this is the first and only title that we've seen from the Toronto Raptors because of this shot happening. If this shot doesn't happen, I don't think we get that Toronto Raptors 2019 championship win. So for that reason, I had to put this at number 2. It's just not better than my number 1, in my opinion. My number 1 makes a hell of a lot of sense. I understand why you put it where you put it, but this had to be number 2 for me. We're going to head into our number 1 shortly here. But before we do, we're going to head over into one more ad from our sponsors. So if you haven't checked it out yet, go check out Viva because they just came out with a new tequila seltzer. I'm pretty sure it's lemon that they came out with. But yeah, we'll be right back.
Jared, hey, we're gonna need you to tone it down with the Summer Friday thing, okay?
What are you talking about?
Well, for one, it's not summer anymore.
Oh, really?
Coconut. Also, who is this?
I'm the caddy.
Oh, he's my intern.
Sorry, intern. I'm his intern.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
No golfing in the office, okay? Summer Fridays are over. You can keep the Hawaiian shirt, but the rest of this stuff, all right? Are you grilling?
Oh, yeah. Did you want a burger or a hot dog?
No, grilling in the office.
That's a good point. We should take this outside.
No, that don't. You put that right back down.
Yo, it's all in the hips.
Oh, dude, come on, we gotta go. Let's go.
And we are back. As we said, we're going to hop over into our number 1 greatest all-time shot or game winner that we have seen in NBA history. Mazzi, I have a feeling that we're going to see a familiar face from you that we saw in my list. So I'm going to let you go into your number 1.
Yes, sir. It's going to be Kawhi Leonard's Game 7 winner. I mean, it's so hard to argue against this. One, just like you said, Toronto would absolutely not have a championship right now without Kawhi Leonard. It's a Game 7. They were down by 1. If this shot doesn't fall, I don't think the rebound goes up and puts it up and gets them a 1-point lead as well. Either they beat the 76ers 92-90. Kawhi makes this shot trailing to the corner over a 7-footer in Joel Embiid next to his own teammates' bench and literally gets to watch it alongside his teammates hit the rim 3 times and go in. You couldn't literally picture this. You take a shot and you can go onto the bench and watch your shot with your teammates and decide whether it's going to go in and then scream out that you're going on to the next round. From there, it's an unbelievable shot for the reason alone of him coming there for DeMar DeRozan and the reason to win a championship and everybody being like, okay, like it's a good move for Toronto, but like championship realistically? Like, no, they were supposed to lose to this Philly team in that round. It was not supposed to be close. It was Joel Embiid's time to go on a deep run, and Toronto shocked the world. Kawhi literally put up 41 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. The next closest person on his team in scoring was 17, and then the next closest was 11. So this man literally said, all right, Toronto, you need me game 7, I got you. The claw is here. I'm down to put it down. And bro, like I remember exactly where I was. I was at work. I was watching it in the back with all the Jamaicans. Shout out Pates, Jaj, Jason, what's good? Freaking I just remember walking back there, watching it, and then just screaming and running through the restaurant. A packed steakhouse at like 8:30 at night, 9:30 at night, screaming. Couldn't believe that shot went in. I had to go home after that because they didn't like that. But yeah, dude, I saw it happen. It just the ramifications is unreal. I, they won a championship because of it. Like that's as close to a game 7 winner to win the finals as I think anybody's come to, because he doesn't hit that game 7 winner and they don't win the finals.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That's literally why I put him in my number 2 spot. I just don't think that it's better than my number 1 spot. I think when you think of a game winner to win the game, you think of 2 shots, and one of them is not a game winner because one of them leaves zero point 0.3 seconds on the clock or whatever it was. One of them was a game winner. So for that reasoning, I understand why he's your number 1. I understand why the whole season with Toronto and being one of the greatest seasons that we've ever seen from a star, from a prototype player, from a guy that just got injured, and San Antonio tried to make him play when he was physically injured, and then him the next season going on a tear and bringing this Toronto Raptors team to the playoffs and eventually winning the NBA Finals against the Big Three in Golden State, even though there was some injuries in that. But and getting Toronto their first championship, I understand why you have Kawhi Leonard at number 1, but it is just not better than this guy right here, another familiar face. It is just not better than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan. This was the beginning of the Michael Jordan Renaissance, the Michael Jordan era, whatever you want to call it, the big 3. This was everything. Game 5, first round, where this was a series of 5 games. This is when Chicago started getting competitive. It wasn't just a bunch of coke addicts and then Michael Jordan. No, this is when they started to really play basketball. MJ hitting a game winner and capping it off with 44 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, plus hitting the classic jump that almost kicked Mark Price in the face. They would eventually lose to the Pistons in 6, which is when they started to go out and they started to look for a guy like Scottie Pippen that they actually ended up trading for, because Scottie Pippen was originally drafted by the Seattle Supersonics, and then they traded the rights to their pick for Scottie Pippen. And then they got Horace Grant as well, and it became a big 3 in 90-91, where Michael Jordan ended up winning 3 championships in a row. Without Michael Jordan hitting this shot and leading them to go against the Pistons and taking that Detroit Pistons team that was loaded at the time to 6 games, we wouldn't see what we saw with the 6 championships with Michael Jordan. We wouldn't have seen the greatest shot of all time. We wouldn't have seen him win 2 3-peats. This was the beginning of the best NBA player of all time.
1 and 2 interchangeable to me. I agree completely with what you said, but I also just think the ramifications in the scenario of number 2 on your list, puts it at number one. I'm not mad with either one. Like you said, you think of a game winner. This was that game winner staple, but also Kawhi in the corner watching it bounce, going, oh! At the end of the game is as iconic as it is for this generation of kids coming up. So either way, I think it's 1-2 there. You could make the argument for both. We like to keep it two-sided. You know how it goes.
Yeah, I do want to say that I do have one guy that could also potentially be on this list, but the reason why that he's not is because it wasn't just the player making the shot, it was also the play behind it. We do have Dennis Johnson, probably the greatest game winner of all time, in my opinion, but because it was Larry Bird's steal that made it more efficient and more beneficial towards the team, we didn't have him on this list. So all the older fans, don't get mad. He's still there. It's just that because the steal was more important than the actual bucket, we didn't end up putting him on the list.
Shout out any Celtics player ever. You're a GOAT.
With that being said, we have a lot coming towards you guys. We have at least 10 shows between our shows and Jeff's shows, Livezone Sports and East Coast Sports Investors working together.
On the planet.
Yep, stirring the pot, trying to get you guys as much content as possible. You can catch me on X at Real Livezone, and you can catch me on Instagram at official.livezone. Mazzi, where can we find you?
You can find me on X right now because I'm taking a break from all the social media in my head and my mind. I post on X. Find me at Maserati1. That's Mazzurati, the number one. Reach out to me there. I'm really not on anything else right now, but we are posting all the time. I'm on YouTube live and I'm on StreamYard live, TikTok live. So wherever you need to talk to us live in the comments, we're live and we'll respond right then and there. But yeah, it's locked down the pipeline. Still more to come. We got a new year coming up, so new fun stuff, new everything. Just remember to always
Stay tuned.